Okay, we're now getting ready to start into the meat of things in our textbook as we prepare to learn how to write professionally in our business writing section. You know, it's said that some of the job recruiters have said that the need and the ability to take something that is awkwardly written and make it flow smoothly, or to express business ideas in writing that is 180 degrees different from writing for your English classes. It's what's needed in business writing. So in our class, we've talked about scholarly writing, and we're actually, as the semester goes on, we're going to do two different types of writing. You'll be doing a research paper, which will be more scholarly, using professional words, really what you've done in English 101 or English 102. But then there is the business writing, which is what we're going to concentrate on from our text readings. In business writing, you want it to be smooth. You want it to be professional, but yet you want it to be very friendly. So let's get a start and see what we can come up with. Whenever you're writing a memo, or if you're going to write a lengthy email or a professional paper, it could be a marketing strategy, it could be anything. There's three parts of your writing process, and this not only goes for business writing, but this goes for any type of writing. There's the pre-writing, the writing, and then the revising. And if you look at this slide, you'll notice that the pre-writing, this is our purpose. This is where we figure out who our audience is. This is where we do our planning. What is it we want to say, and who are we going to say it to? And if you notice, that's only 25% of our time is in the pre-writing. And this could take some time though, but this should be something that you already know. Before you do a presentation, you'll know who your audience is. You'll know pretty much what you want to say. Now, you just go to the second phase, which is the writing. That's where you're going to start organizing your research. You're going to start typing in the paragraphs. You'll probably use Microsoft Word and go to the thesaurus and maybe change a word or two because you don't want to use the same word all the time. So that's 25%, and usually when we think about writing a paper, that's all we think about is just writing. We feel that we can just sit down and start typing up and then you have a novel. Well, that's not the case. There's a lot of thinking before you start writing. And look at that third phase, revising. Did you notice that that's 50% of the time? That's where we do our proofreading and we do our revising. A lot of time, whenever you go from writing to revising, the paper looks different. One thing I want you to know is whenever you start writing your papers, not just for this class, but for your other classes or for your career, whenever you're doing some professional writing, don't think that you have to sit down, start typing, and then that's it. Writing is a long process, and even if you're going to write 5 or 6 or 7 pages, you shouldn't be able to do that just in one sitting. You want to have a plan, you want to have a purpose, you want to start typing some things out, and then you want to sit back and think about it, take a break, and start typing again, doing some more research. After you type a few paragraphs, you'll notice, well, I need to change some things back in my first paragraph. And that's okay. And then whenever you've finished and you feel like it's flowing smoothly, start proofreading. And it's a good idea to have someone else proofread it, because after you look at the paper for so long, so many times, it'll look perfect to you, and somebody else can look at it and maybe see a typo or see a few words that could be changed. So proofreading and revising is something to pay special attention to. And in business writing, we want to focus on the sender. In other words, we want to be other-oriented. When you focus on the sender, you don't focus on yourself. You don't want to use a lot of I. You want to use you. And most of you that's worked in the public as cashiers or waiters or waitresses, whenever you've worked in the public, you know that the customer is always right. And that's how it is in the business world, because if it wasn't for the customers, we wouldn't have a job. So our job is to make sure that we word things correctly. We word things to where it's non-offensive, and we put all the kindness that we can into the sender. And it's not about us, it's about them. And we want to be conversational, not as much professional. And what I mean by that is there's a time when we need to be scholarly, but then there's another time we just need to be conversational. We need to be businesslike. Being businesslike is kind of the middleman between our normal talk and scholarly talk. It's the nice medium. And then, of course, we need to have a positive outlook in our writing, in our lectures, in our presentations, because as business people, whatever company that you work for, you represent the company. And if you're having a bad day, you don't want to let the customer know you're having a bad day. Keep it positive. And finally, this is just a simple example, but if you look at this, you can see we have two different sentences. The first sentence says, you can't use the parking lot until next week. Well, a better way of wording this that is professional, not necessarily scholarly, but still it's very professional. You may use the parking lot starting next week and thereafter. It's very positive. And that's one of the things that you're going to notice here in this chapter and the next two chapters. We want to talk about how we can become more positive in our talk and in our writing. So if you haven't had a chance to read the chapter, go ahead and start, and let me know if you have any questions.